I actually apologize for the length. It's Steph Intuitive Soul Sparks, and this is part 2 of discussing these key upcoming transits, which are all going to have sort of a cascading impact on each other. I felt like today, of all days, was a very good day to focus on this upcoming moment, which is the 29th, and then 3 weeks onward. So, and again, I just want to clarify that I'm not saying this in terms of any kind of doom forecasting or anything like that, but just so that we're aware of the energy and we make informed decisions. So we left off in part 1 with Jupiter at that final degree point of Cancer and it being conjoined with Mercury that was slowing down. Then that's on the 28th with that full moon vibe energy. And we also have Mars in Gemini that's pushing against Uranus, which is going to be moving the mind and wanting to be stimulated. Here's where it gets fun. Jupiter on the 29th moves to Leo. On the same day, Mercury goes retrograde. A retrograde means it stops. It's no longer moving. This is why we associate Mercury retrograde. It's a need to reflect, especially on anything that involves communications, because it is a time where we're supposed to be internally reflecting, and reviews are absolutely necessary for anything necessary that we're putting out there within that time period. But here's where it gets a little bit interesting. Sorry, I'm sorry with the facial expressions, but it's just, once I understood this upcoming energy, I knew I had to talk to you guys all about it, because it's gonna feel like a lot of opposing things. Because Jupiter in Leo, what do we know about Jupiter? It expands everything. It naturally belongs to Sagittarius, which makes it fire. What do we know about Leo? It's already a really big fire energy. And now we have Jupiter, which belongs to a fire, coming in. So it's not even that, because Jupiter in Cancer was really like exalted. It's just more so like the fire on fire is going to make it fiery in a sign that is already very inclined to be spontaneous, to be big, to be loud, to be seen, to be confident, to be in the spotlight and shine. That is Leo. And we have experienced Leo because Venus is also there, but it's farther down Leo now, so it's not necessarily interacting with this Jupiter thing. And Jupiter is direct, another thing to mention. So it is pushing. It's fast. It's expanding everything in Leo. Expression, wanting to say the thing, or more importantly, do the thing. Then you've got Mars and Gemini, which is like, say it, right? And stimulation. Here's where we have to pause, time out, because the fourth thing that we need to talk about is Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is in Cancer. Correct. We already know in the first video, the Cancer can be very nostalgic. The Cancer can be it looks back on the past with rose-colored glasses. That hindsight perspective is kind of colored by the sense of safe comfort, nurturing, empathy, so forth. We know that the Sun is also in Cancer. So again, we have a lot of energy there. In general, a lot of push to express, and yet Mercury retrograde is legit asking us to pause. And that's gonna be so tricky when at the same time you have Jupiter in fire and Mars in Gemini beside Uranus. It's gonna feel completely opposed to anything we want to do. Okay, but if that person from the past suddenly appears in your life, if old things you thought you were done with are suddenly coming up again, let me emphasize that this is not a time to restart those. They are coming up for closure. They are coming up so that we can leave them in the past, so that we can, make sure that we have properly processed and so on and so forth. It is not an invitation to go back with whoever it is or whatever it is, or return to old ideas. Yes, but only to review and reflect. And yet, you're gonna have Leo here that has Venus in it already. that is very much going to be like, just do it, do the thing, shine, sparkle, dance, don't dim your light. And those are all great ideas. But with a Mercury retrograde, not all the details are being shown to us. So those quick reactions need to be kind of filtered through a processing, an internal reflection processing, which will make them responses. And patience and being steadfast. I mean, all of these things are going to be required for us at a time that doesn't make those things feel kind of relevant or important, because there's going to be so much like push to do it and to think, big new ideas, innovation, Uranus, Mars, Gemini, all that stuff. And then Leo, Jupiter, boom, big, think big. It's making it much bigger, which Leo is already a sign that gets associated with being too much. And that is not at all what I'm emphasizing. Leo is not too much. Leo is just right, just right. Leo's light is bright and beautiful and should not be dimmed. But the thing is, if Leo is shining its light on a situation or reacting to a situation that it doesn't fully understand, inevitably that explosion of energy is going to result in regret. And so this is only going to be for a 3-week period, okay? 3.5 weeks. Mercury goes retrograde 3 times every kind of zodiac, every astrological calendar year. Which does not align with the calendar, contradicting ideas. But in this time period, in that first 3 weeks following June 29th of Mercury going retro, of Jupiter going into Leo, of Mars moving into Gemini, what we need to do is be patient, is to remember that things are not revealed, period. And what we are supposed to do, because that's really the question, so what do I do then? Well, there are going to be these big ideas, especially creative ideas, because Leo. So we need to do, it's an opportunity to do the work yourself and do the work internally. So if there are these big emotions coming up or these ideas that you thought you were done with, I can't encourage you more to write it down in a journal, make sure you have that date written there, and then 3 weeks later, return to it. Let's say a month later, just to give Mercury a little bit of a chance to wake up. I can assure you that the details that seem so clear and obvious to you then have now in some way changed, and there is clarity there. But you have not, by taking that time, by writing that journal, by singing that song to yourself, or whatever you need to do to let out that emotional piece, which is going to feel big, you will be happy that you did not react to information you didn't have. And the information is coming. So hold the line. You got this, guys. Do your best. That's all anything is requesting of you. Have a great day. Love you all.